All right, Bosh, we're back. Another episode, Squeeze the Neck podcast. And today I'm in Woolwich, right? We're in Woolwich?
Yep, Woolwich.
With my mate, old coach actually, not mate, my old coach, Jamie Scott. Thanks a lot for doing this, mate.
Always a pleasure, mate.
Thank you very much. And tell us where we are today, mate, because we are 10th Planet London, but we're at the new one.
We're in 10th Planet London. We're in our new location, which is in Woolwich, SE18. We've still got our main gym down in Royal Albert, E16. So that's like the main gym, that's like the headquarters, and this is like the little brother we're opening up, do you know what I mean? We know that there's a lot of killers in South East, you know what I mean? So we thought, yes, we need a location in South East to open up. And you know, the goal is, it's one team, the goal is that we build a super team, and then we just take over London. You know
that plan
I mean?
to get
that's the plan. We want some more locations over London.
Nice.
Because obviously I run 10 Planet London, so I can spread it out over London, and yeah, the plan is build the super team.
Yeah, man, let's do that. Let's get a bit more southwest, because even though we're the right side of the river today, we're the wrong side of London. Do you know what I mean? So let's figure that one out.
You know how many messages I've had about that? Everyone's like, "Oh, I thought you was in South." I'm like, "Yeah, I am," and they're like, "No, you're not. You're not."
Well, just for context, for anyone who doesn't know London, I'm from South. This is in South. It still took me about an hour and 15 minutes to drive here today. Do you know what I mean? So it's a big place. It's, you know, it's difficult to get about in London, but we made it, and it's worth the trip, because you touched on there. You said this is the little brother, but if you come down and have a look around, this is it's not so little, is it? This is a hell of a facility.
No, it's a big facility, especially for London.
Yeah.
Because, you know, London can be expensive. Do you know what I mean? But you know, you've got to take the risks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the hard work's there. We've got the good coaches here, so we open a place up. We know they're going to come.
Nice.
You know
Build it and they will come, isn't it?
Build it and they will come.
That's it,
Open
mate.
the doors, mate. They will flood in. Do you know what I mean?
So we'll circle back plenty, I'm sure, on 10th Planet. And the gym's Diesel, am I right? It's Diesel's the MMA.
That's right.
Yep.
Over, so here we've got the Diesel Gym Woolwich.
Yep.
So 10th Planet's always been part of Diesel Gym.
Right.
Just because when I first started, it was MMA that I got into first, do you know what I mean? So here we've got Diesel Gym AK, and we've got the original Diesel Gym, the OG. Down at Dockside.
And what's AK? What does AK stand for?
For Artillery Kai. That's they are people used to train with us before. Kenny and Tony. They used to train with us, do Thai, and they come over this side of the water and they opened up the gym, AK, and you know, they was doing really well, but we've joined forces with them now.
So it's a proper growing project, isn't it?
It's a proper growing project, you know what I mean? Yeah. They wanted the 10th Planet here, so yeah, we come together and we've made it happen.
Nice.
You know
That's cool, man. Because so if we was to sit down again in sort of 5-10 years, you're gonna have like facilities all over London.
Hopefully it's in another facility in London. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, the plan is just to keep growing. We've got a big team, big competition team. So yeah, we're doing the right thing.
And the sign? What's the sign? Am I doing that right? Is it that one? That one? However we do it.
However you want to do it, mate. It don't matter. You know, it don't. As long as we're winning, you throw up whatever you want. It doesn't matter.
Give it the double thumbs up like we're here to stay. But I originally met you years ago. It would have probably been about, probably 2017 at the old one. The old was that the original Diesel Gym?
That was the original Diesel Gym down in Limehouse where we started.
Mate,
yeah, and. Man, I think the Diesel Gym's been running for probably nearly 20 years now, about 19, 20 years.
Yeah.
And yeah, originally the Diesel Gym Limehouse was Thai gym, was opened up by Cliff Bureau, and you know, big Thai backgrounds, and then they started getting the MMA involved, and then started getting the Jiu Jitsu involved. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I sort of come along when the MMA and the Jiu Jitsu was just sort of starting in the gym. And when I went in, I thought it was great, because you know, we had people from Thailand was teaching the Thai classes. We had the Brazilians were teaching the Jiu Jitsu. You know, we had someone from Dagestan teaching the wrestlers. I thought, oh, this is great. This has got to be the best place to train. And then yeah, since then it's grown. And the good thing about the gym is that we've got strong teams in each discipline, you know what I mean? The MMA, the Thai, Jiu Jitsu, we've got competition teams just out going everywhere, you know what I mean? But as I say, Limehouse was humble beginnings, Do you know what I mean?
Fond memories in there I got, man.
It
That
was
a great
humble
place.
beginnings, yes. It was, man, we was on the second floor and we had no windows. Well, we had windows, but we had no glass in the windows. So it was, you know, it would get very cold. We was next to a cement factory, so you might get a little bit of dust blowing in now and again.
All builds character.
All builds character. We was had communal toilets. You know, we used to get druggies on the floors, coming up the stairs, things like that. It was, you know, it was a scary place, but that was the test. Mm-hmm. You had to make it up them 2 flights of stairs. If you made it up, we knew, oh, you belong here. Because the amount of people had phoned me up, go, oh, I'm looking for 10 Planet London, I'm looking for Diesel Gym. And I'm like, yeah, where are you? They tell me the address, like, I'm outside some old crappy building. Looks like a drug house, looks like a crack house. I'm like, yeah, that's it.
Walk past the drug house, keep going up,
Keep going up the stairs, mind the crackheads, go up the stairs, and we're there. And yeah, many people walked away from that.
I bet, I bet. I'm sure. I got loads of fun memories in there because, as you were saying before off camera, I used to come down for the leg lock class on a Saturday morning, which is great. I really recommend for anyone who's good, and I'm going to start coming back down because, you know, I miss those days. But also, big thing that always struck me with 10 Planet, like a few schools in London now, but like it wasn't always that way. It's like a welcoming place as well, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's not like a political place where you come from so-and-so school, you're not welcome here, all that kind of shit that goes about. It was always, I always felt from day one, very sort of, even though I was from miles away, it was always a very welcoming place, you know? Is that something that's a conscious effort, or is that just the way you are?
Well, I think it was the way that 10th Planet was, and that's what attracted me to it, you know? Because, you know, even when we used to train at Diesel, you had a lot of politics involved. When we had, you know, the Brazilians were teaching now, and obviously nothing against Brazilians, but the old school way of teaching, it was a lot of politics and stuff like that, and I just wanted to train. Yeah. You know what I mean? So when I took over and started running 10 Planet London, it was, you know, at first it wasn't so pleasant because, you know, people didn't like it. You know, the traditional schools, they hated it.
Right. And was it gi when you started, before you took over?
We never done gi.
Oh, right. It was,
we had another place which was in Canary Wharf, which was our gi academy.
Right, okay.
So it was, I used to come in, do MMA, train no gi, and I used to drive over there quick and just for a bit of sparring with the gi. So I used to put the gi on at the beginning. I wouldn't listen to no techniques. I was terrible. All I wanted to do was just get extra sparring in. So all the grabbing this, grabbing that, wasn't interested in that. I just wanted to get extra sparring in. So yeah, we've done that for a little while, but that closed down. But the main Diesel was was just no gi we used to do over there. But it was only once or twice a week.
And you bought the 10th Planet there, did you? Was you?
I brought the 10th Planet in. So when I first joined Diesel, I done the MMA first.
Right. Before Jiu Jitsu?
Before Jiu Jitsu,
But that was a fun time.
So I thought, yeah, that was tough. it was, back then, the training was a lot tougher than what I see happening now. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? It was, basically, we used to just fight consistently all the time. You know, the training was brutal, it was tough. And yeah, when I joined Diesel, the goal was to have one MMA fight, and that was it.
What, just like a bucket list type thing?
Yep. That's all I wanted to do. So I joined Diesel, and I thought, yeah, you know, this is a good gym. I'm going to train 6 months or whatever, have one MMA fight, and then that's it. I'm going to walk away.
And what, just go back to work and carry on with your
life?
life?
Just go back to work, you know, man, and get older, you know, tell the grandkids, oh, look, I had this MMA fight when I was younger, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it didn't happen like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when I joined, I was getting ready for a semi-pro fight, and that fell through. And then I had a phone call, I think it was a week after, so I'd cut all the weight. It was like a week before the fight, that fell through. And yeah, I had a phone call, and they offered me, it was co-main event, pro rules on the show. Someone had pulled out. So I was sitting at home, I was eating a Chinese. I'd only put about a kilo on. I was like, yeah, let's do it. I want to do it. I just want to have the fight. That's it. That's all I want. And it was a week coming up. I went back in training. Went, yeah, I've got this fight now. It was on the show. We had a few of our lads on the show, and we had some really tough people in there. I remember I was sparring with a gentleman, Dominic Plum, and man, he was tough. And we was doing some ground and pound work, and man, he was hammer fisting, and my ear blew up so much, was hanging off my head, and I was like, oh mate, I've got a week before this fight. And I was draining the ear out, and then, yeah, so I had the fight. It went 15 minutes, but I remember it was the first round in the fight. I took a couple of shots, and my ear hole was hanging down on my head like this. It was blew up so much, and it was just hanging down off my head. And then, yeah, we went to 15 minutes. I won the fight, and I was in the back. I think I went for about 5 needles trying to drain my ear out. Because the wife wasn't happy. The wife didn't want me doing it.
Yeah,
you know
wife
I mean?
saying, yeah, that she's not going to be too much of a fan
yeah,
of the old
she didn't want me training, you know, she didn't want me fighting. And I was trying to drain this ear out quick before I went home.
As in, like, trying to hide it from her?
Trying to hide it from the
going home
missus,
to your
yeah.
mum,
I was
like,
thinking, yeah, she's going to leave me. I looked like Shrek, my ear was hanging down. So yeah, I drained 5 needles, I drained it out. I remember on the way home, I pulled up at a garage, trying to get some ice, just trying to calm my ear down a little bit. Didn't have no ice. I bought a couple of ice lollies. I bought some ice lollies and had a bandage taped round my head while my brother's driving me home from, he was in Croydon. Driving me home from Croydon, and I think I just went in, I took the ice lollies out, just taped me back. I went, oh yeah, I've got a few little injuries, baby, you know what I mean? And she weren't happy.
But she knew she was fighting. It weren't a complete secret. She knew.
No, she knew I was fighting, but didn't want me fighting.
Didn't want you fighting, yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I think it was the next day. Yeah, she weren't too impressed.
Right,
you know
yeah, of course.
It was all black and blue. I mean, my ear hole was hanging off.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's it, babe. That's it. No more. I've done it now. But yeah, I carried on training, and then it was leading up to that fight. That's when I first started studying 10th Planet.
Okay, and what year are we talking here? When was this?
Oh man, this was we're maybe talking about 17 years ago.
So it's probably early days for 10th Planet as well, isn't it? I would imagine.
There was a few schools already. There was about 5 schools in the UK.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 10th Planet, I think, would been around probably maybe about 10 years already then.
Oh, okay. All right. Gotcha.
So yeah, it was then, that last week, that's when I first started studying 10th Planet. You know, so obviously Eddie was, you know, with his rubber guard and stuff like that, you know, creating a guard for MMA. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, this is interesting. Mm-hmm. And I was always quite flexible anyway, you know what I mean? And it was in the fight, I was trying to use it in the fight, and my coach was like, what are you doing? They didn't know what I was doing, but it was stuff that I'd watched that week. Yeah. I'm on the bottom, I'm holding someone like that, I'm like, just using my leg to hold them, like, damn, it's bloody working. I'm just controlling them. Yeah, when I come back from after the fight, it was, I just started getting into the jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. I just started falling in love with the jiu-jitsu. Basically, as I was getting old, I didn't like getting punched in the head. Do you know what I mean? So it was an easier route for me to go into jiu-jitsu. And yeah, I just fell in love with jiu-jitsu, man.
I got you. And just going back, like you said about losing the weight and stuff, what weight did you fight at as an MMA?
I fought 84.
84,
yeah.
So some big boys there, isn't there, 84?
Yeah, and you know what? I fought a gentleman, Chad Brown. And when I see him, and he was big. When I see him, I thought, damn, man, this has got to be wrong. I shouldn't be in this weight category. Yeah. He was like ripped, he was jacked up, he was ripped. I thought, damn, I've got to fight for my life here.
Yeah, this is a big one. Yeah, this is a big boy. But if we go back even further, mate, how did you start in MMA? Where are you from originally, actually?
I'm from Stratford, East London.
Okay, wrong side of the water, but never mind. That's all right. That's all right. But no, what did you do as a youth? Was you boxing? Was you doing other martial arts? Or did you find it late?
So obviously, when I was young, I done karate and stuff like that. When I went to like all boys school, and we done judo a little bit. In the old boys' school, we used to do judo and rugby in there, which was, well, I say judo and rugby, it was like the teacher would get us in a circle and go, right, you and you, boom, and then we'd just wrestle. We'd just beat each other up, you know? And the rugby was the same. No one wanted the ball. Yeah. As soon as you got the ball, it was like prison rugby. Everyone just started punching each other, kicking each other. So that was really tough. Yeah, growing up it was a Rokeby in Stratford, the original one. That was really tough. And as I got a bit older, I'd done a little bit of boxing. Okay, like I'd go down, do some sparring, just pad work and bad work down at the Peacocks. Okay. So I used to go down Peacocks, do a little bit of training down there, and it was just things like that. I mean, growing up, to be honest, I was a bit of a scallywag growing up, especially going to an all-boys school. So I was always getting into scraps and just stuff like you couldn't avoid it. If you go into an all boys school, if you couldn't hold your hands up, you was on the receiving end of it. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was really tough. But I used to work as a building site manager, and this is where it all started. When I started getting into the MMA, so we used to work as a building site manager, and on the building sites, obviously it's very male populated. Used to get a lot of Polish people in there, and they're all fucking tough in there. They're all ex-boxers, blah, blah, blah. So I had an idea. I was like, oh, we'll bring some boxing gloves in. Okay, it's on a new development over East London. We'll go up on the 13th floor, and we'll arrange some sparring sessions up there. So anyway, this fucking grew and grew and grew. So we used to go up there on break times, put the gum shields in, put the gloves in. We used to go up there. We used to arrange little matches with people, you know what I mean? Some used to get out a bit of we weren't allowed to do it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just like an unofficial fight club.
Just an unofficial fight club, yeah. Just because it was enjoyable, we enjoyed it. And we got caught because, I won't say what company used to work for, but they would go into the canteen and there'd be no one there. Because we're all up on the 13th floor. 1 minute the canteen was filled up, everyone heard wind, like, oh man, they're all having sparring sessions. So people going in there getting their cup of tea, and then going up onto the 13th floor, all sitting there watching the scraps. And I used to have loads of scraps up there. And then so that got stopped because one of the fellas come up and caught us. And
and what was the reaction there? Like, what the fuck are you lot up to?
Yeah, to be honest, they was all right. They was like, listen, lads, there's no one down in the canteen. You know what I mean? The canteen's going out of pocket.
Yeah.
Everyone's up here. What's going on? They're like, you're going to get caught. You're going to get thrown off the site.
Right.
So then I sent my wife, I said, bloody hell, babe, you know what I mean? I wasn't young, I was like, oh, I can't keep doing this, you know what I mean? So I want to get involved, do the MMA, you know what I mean? So yeah, that started from there. So yeah, it all started from little scraps on building sites.
That's funny, that, isn't it? What age was you then? You said you weren't young.
Maybe I was, 29.
We'll call that young,
28.
We'll call that young because the years are going up for me, so we'll call that young. We'll call that one young. But from there, was it straight in at the deep end to Diesel and like, I'm going to have a fight and that's that?
First of all, there was like a little youth club behind this shopping centre where I used to live. And I see that they'd done MMA there. So I went there, but it was just a couple of lads there, you know what I mean? They was just figuring things out. And I was like, you know, I want to fight. You know what I mean? So I found Diesel, and then yeah, that's when I joined Diesel.
Nice.
And I've been there ever since. I've trained. You know, I'm one of them people that when I walk into a gym, you know, Diesel was amazing. I loved it. I loved the rawness of it. You know, it was there. It was no frills there. It was we're here to train and that's it. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, I really loved that.
Did you only have the one MMA fight?
Only had the one.
Only had the one. One and done.
One and done. I did try and get another one, but you know what? I had so many injuries prior to actually training with my knees and stuff like that. The training was I just couldn't get through the training camps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what a lot of people say.
Knees going.
Well, as I said to you just before we started, I was with Dominic Dillon, so shout out Big Dom down in Brighton.
We love Dom. We love Dom.
We all love Dom. But he was saying about like the thing that stopped him with the MMA fights was the injuries for training camp. It wasn't he couldn't do it anymore. It was just because he couldn't get through a camp. And he said this on camera, so I'm not talking out of turn and like you know exposing him or anything. But he was showing me his elbows don't bend properly, or don't straighten properly. Sorry, and all that. So you got to live in that body after, haven't you, mate?
Yeah, the training camps were tough.
Yeah.
You know, they you know, they was harder than the fights, but it was like every time you're walking up the stairs to the gym, you got butterflies. Yeah. Because I know, man, when I walk in there, you know, I've got my mates in there, but we're gonna be smashing each other in there. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was like, oh yeah, my body was taking its toll. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like I say, I had injuries prior to the training. Okay. And I was like, oh man, I just can't do this. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's too much. Because when I first become aware of Diesel, I mean, it would have probably been, I reckon, 2010, somewhere like that. I was working in Canary Wharf, just in a gym, and there was a fella in there. I think his name was Lee Brown. I don't know if you'd know him. He had a couple of MMA fights for Diesel. He had like a mohawk and stuff. Yeah, I think I know you talking about. Yeah. Was it Red Mohawk?
That's it. Yeah. That's it. Shout out Lee. I haven't seen him for about 15 years.
I ain't seen him either.
But he's he used to be a PT in the gym, and he had the mad hair, and you'd look at him and you go, this fucking guy, what's he about? And he was always talking about Diesel, come down there. But I was boxing at the time, and I said to my coach at the time, like, I'm thinking about doing a bit of MMA as well, and he looked at me like I was fucking simple, like will you shut up, you know what I mean? Get on the bag and shut the fuck up type deal. Because I say back in the day, I sound like a dinosaur. It's not that long ago, but like if you said to a boxing coach MMA, they'd look at you and go, oh, all right, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, fucking hell. So I never came down there until years late when I was already a few years deep in jiu-jitsu. But maybe I should have come down earlier and learnt some leg locks off you a bit sooner. But take us through like an MMA camp, mate, because you said like the injuries, and back in the day it was more of a tear-up in training, right? So like, what was like, you got your fight coming up. How did you train for that?
So we used to do circuit classes in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Every day?
Oh, that's every day, yeah. And it was back in the days there where we had the gas masks. You know what I mean? But not them single ones. It was like the proper World War gas mask. You know what I mean? We had a gentleman there, Ian Peters, who used to make us put the gas mask on. And the amount of times I threw up in that gas mask. You'd be on that aerodyne bike, all carrots coming out, coming through the top, all coming out. I said, carry on, bro. Ripping it up. So yeah, that was brutal enough. But it was, you know, let's say I walk into a class. You know, there's only a small group of us that was fighting at the time. It'd be like, oh, yeah, okay, we're going to do rounds today. He's going to mount you, ground and pound. Your job is to get back up. You know what I mean? It was just things like that. You know what I mean? 4-ounce gloves on, and they're started, and it's just that straight away, boom, 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 and you're like you're up against the cage, man. And they go, get up. Like, mate. You know what I mean? So it was just that bits of your teeth coming out, stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it was brutal training. I mean, it is a brutal sport. You know what I mean? Elbows rubbing in your face. I mean, little things like that. You got to be able to, you know, take little things like that. You don't want to tap to someone rubbing elbows in your face and just stuff like that.
Probably not. No.
So yeah, it was a lot of pain and conditioning training and stuff like that. Oh, mate, this is, you know, the fight was easy. Even when I went straight in at the pro fight, it was like the training was hard. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then, like I say, then I thought, you know, I started to like the jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean?
No more getting elbowed in the head.
No more getting elbows, you know what I mean? But yeah, like I say, the jiu-jitsu just took over me there. Yeah. You know what I mean? I fell in love with the jiu-jitsu. And like I said previously, studying the 10th planet, coming up to the MMA fight. So I started just getting involved in that, just studying 10th planet, because it was a different system to what I was being taught and what I see. And it seemed like I had an advantage over people because they just didn't know what I was doing. Right. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that made me fall in love with it, you know. But and of course it went with the MMA, you know what I mean? Because I was, at first I was, you know, jiu-jitsu. I'd be sparring or whatever. I see them doing jiu-jitsu over there. I'd be like, what are they doing? Rolling around on the ground. You know
we've all been there, haven't we? Yeah.
What are they doing? And then, yeah, man, it's crazy how jiu-jitsu just takes hold of you. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think it's because of the knowledge as well. There's just so much to learn. It's endless learning. But yeah, man, that was.
But yeah, that's jiu-jitsu, isn't it? Like, as you say, the more, someone said it to me years ago and it stuck in my brain, like, the more you learn, the more you realise you don't know, right? You get better and better, but you realise how much it's endless, like you said, isn't it? You're never going to know it all. And with 10th Planet, what I noticed as well, when I did, like, your classes, and Jack Tiley, I think is his name, right?
That's right,
Shout out, Big Jack. He, like, it's all very system approach, isn't it? It's like A1, A2, D this, D that.
Yeah, okay, so they're like, they 10th Planet have, like, a warm-up drill system.
Right.
In place, which we used to do. We used to do that religious. It's not that we have to do it. Everyone has to do it. Like we do more wrestling now.
Right. Okay.
So that would be, you know, how we warm up a class. But it's, yeah, we focus more on wrestling now. You know what I mean? So that's what my team needs. You know what I mean? So, and you know, Eddie created that system. But Eddie's sweet. Eddie's like, whatever you think your school needs, that's what you do. You create your system for your school. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think at first it was a system that everyone followed, but you know, you realise you can't always follow the same system. It's, you know, you need to focus on, read the room in your school, what they need to develop on. Do you know what I mean? That you have to focus on. You know what I mean? So,
And what's he like, Eddie? Have you trained with him in person, I take it?
Yeah. Oh, Eddie fucked me up, man.
Yeah.
Eddie's a savage.
How big is he? Because you see some photos, like, the reason I ask, some photos you see him next to someone, he seems like a little tiny guy, and then you see him with other MMA fighters, and he looks like quite a jacked up big guy. I don't know whether he keeps losing weight or what.
You know what? He's I'm not going to say he's a little fella, Eddie. I don't want to say that. In case he fucks me up again. But yeah, he's average height. I don't know what, but he's a little bit smaller than me. But yeah, he's quite jacked, Eddie.
Is he? Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a little unit.
Yeah.
But the thing, when you roll with Eddie, is, you know, because I've done 10 Planet for so long, so I know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it, I watch him study his tapes, his sparring. You just can't stop him.
Yeah, okay.
You just can't stop it.
Yeah.
And he's so flexible. You know what I mean? And he's so fucking strong, man. Oh
Is
my
he?
God.
He's strong as well, yeah.
Eddie's so fucking strong.
That's mad, that, because the flexible makes sense. You see him roll, but he just looks like, what's the word I'm looking for? What's that toy that was around when I was a kid? Like a slinky.
Like a slinky, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It looks like he's flowing all over the shop.
Yeah.
But he's strong as well.
Oh, he's fucking strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's clinches, he tires you up, once he grabs hold of something, that's it. It's fucking, yeah. But you know what? Eddie's fucking amazing.
Is he? Yeah.
What you see Eddie on any video, Eddie's exactly the same.
Good, he'd be a good guy.
Yeah,
because I love
there's
him.
no act, you know what I mean? And, you know, he's very transparent, Eddie, and he's just what he is, you know what I mean? He doesn't care whether you like him or not, whether he, you know, which is a beautiful attitude to have.
Yeah, he's great on podcasts, isn't he? He's one of the best people to watch.
Oh, yeah, he's amazing on podcasts, you know what I mean?
Well, I'll tell you what I do driving. I was listening to it here. Sorry to cut you off. When I was driving here, I was listening to like an old 2017 like Fight Companion with him on it.
Yeah.
And I can't remember which one it is now, which fights. It's irrelevant. I just listened to it because he's like ranting and raving about conspiracy. Tower 7, but he's brilliant. And I like, you know, to listen to him and I like, you know, to train with him must be fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's an experience, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm very grateful that he's my coach, you know what I mean? Because at the time, when I first started training, like I say, we had some Brazilian coaches there. You know, all the politics there. There wasn't no freedom to do anything, to experiment. It's like, oh, no, it has to be done this way. Everything was strict down the line. No, you're doing it wrong. You know what I mean? But obviously with Eddie, it was the freedom. Oh, you can experiment. If you're doing something that's submitting people, then fucking do it. You know what I mean?
If it works, it's right.
If it works, yeah, exactly. So there was no right or wrong. And it was, you know, it was the freedom to be creative. You know, which I enjoyed, which I liked, you know, and how jiu-jitsu should be. You know, as a coach myself, you know, for many years, this is how I teach my students. You know what I mean? You know, I can show them techniques, but you have to understand that, oh, you can experiment. It doesn't have to be done exactly that way. You know what I mean? Whatever works for you is you know, is what you're going to do. Yeah. But yeah, so it was that freedom. Like, even though I've trained under Eddie now for probably about 10 years.
Oh wow, okay.
Probably just over 10 years, and you know, we're in a group, and it's all the coaches over the world. So I can't remember the school. There's about 200 schools, something like that. Not even more
Is
than
it that many now? Yeah.
Yeah, there's loads. So we're all in a group, so we're just feeding off information off each other, techniques. We're just talking about business. Eddie's always there. You know what I mean? Talking about all Eddie stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah. But he's always been there. Eddie's always been. Any problems, just let me know. Blah, blah. So as a coach, especially a coach that lives in LA, you know, he's always been there. You know what I mean? So if ever struggling with anything, oh, Eddie, how should I be structuring this? Blah, blah, blah. Eddie's there.
Eddie's the guy.
Man? Eddie's the man.
That's cool, man. So shout out Eddie, bravo. Maybe one day we get him on here.
We love Eddie, mate. We love Eddie.
But how did you end up meeting him in the first place?
I met Eddie. Morning. I met Eddie a seminar.
Okay, just as simple as that.
It was a seminar in Birmingham, because there was a 10 Planet in Birmingham, which was run by Mick Broster. Big shout out to Mick. He's a fucking savage, man. He fucked me up when I first went down there. Yeah, he run a seminar with Eddie, and I went down and I met Eddie, and amazing seminar. I was talking to him afterwards, and I was like, oh yeah, Eddie, I want to run 10 Planet London. He was like, yeah. And there was someone else who was trying to get 10 Planet London. I think it was a school in King's Cross, and they was trying to become 10 Planet London. So I said, Eddie, I want to be 10 Planet London. He was like, oh, I don't know, there's another school that's trying to be 10 Planet London, bam, bam, bam. He was like, yeah, just keep training and blah, 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 blah. So I was like, sweet. So I used to travel down and go and train with Mick down at 10 Planet Birmingham, because it was the closest 10 Planet to me.
Which ain't close. For anyone who doesn't know, that's 2.5, 3 hours.
Yeah, it's still a trek.
Yeah.
And so I used to go down there and get fucked up by Mick. And it was probably about a year after that, so I've been training for a little while because of competing and stuff like that, I started contacting Eddie again, saying, Eddie, I want to be 10 Planet London. I think the other place had stopped. They didn't want to be 10 Planet London.
See, when you said the other place, I thought that this was going to accumulate in like a death match between you and their head boy.
Nah, it would have, and I would have won.
Yeah.
I would have definitely won.
Shout out to the King's Cross 10 Planet Massive.
Yeah, I messaged Eddie again about a year later and said, Eddie, I want to be 10 Planet London. And we was talking, chatting. He blew me out, first of all. I said, nah.
Did he?
You're not ready.
What level were you at this point?
I was a blue belt at that time. So you could say I was a blue belt. It's because I'd done MMA for a while and I used to just do the Jiu Jitsu. We had, the coaches at that time never graded in no-gi. No one graded in no-gi.
Even 10 Planet, there was no...
Oh, at 10 Planet they did.
Oh, right, sorry, this is pre-10 Planet.
Yeah, but I was training at Diesel, the coaches there.
You were just a no-gi guy, yeah.
Yeah, they'd done no-gi. There was no grading in no-gi.
Baha.
You had to do the gi, yeah. Oh, you got to do the gi.
Yeah.
It was back in the days where, you know, if you want to be good at MMA, you got to train gi.
Right.
It was all that malarkey.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we forced the coach, because we was there, you know, it was me and my mate Tom at the time there, Tom Wincott. And we was just fucking everyone up in the gym, you know, competing. We were like, oh yeah, we should need a blue belt. Oh no, you got to train gi. Got to train gi.
It's a weird mindset that now looking back.
We're like, oh, we don't want to train gi. You know, so eventually he gave us a blue belt. And it was the most moodiest thing ever. There was like a little seminar, you know, they got one of their mates over, done a seminar to give him a few quid. And it was about 6 of us, and he went, oh yeah, okay, we're gonna do a grading, Jamie, Tom, blue belt's there for you. We're like, oh yeah, cheers, like thanks. And he went, oh, we're gonna do your certificate, but you got to pay 25 quid for the certificate.
Oh, okay.
Like, nah,
that's your game, yeah.
Yeah, leave it out, mate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Paying 25 quid for the certificate, you're having a laugh. So we just took it as a bit of tongue in cheek, you know what I mean? Getting that belt. But I've been training for a few years, you know what I mean, at that time. So yeah, I was chatting with Eddie, and Eddie blew me out. I said, no, mate. He said, he went, listen, London is probably one of the biggest 10 Planet names there, 10 Planet London. He went, because you are surrounded by schools. Yeah. He said, they are going to hunt you. Right. He said, you know what I mean? Because at the time, people, most traditional schools, they hated 10 Planet. It wasn't Jiu Jitsu. Right. They never won nothing, you know what I mean? All that stuff. So yeah, that was his attitude at the beginning. Like, I don't think you're ready for it, you know what I mean? But I kept on handing him. I kept messaging Eddie going, Eddie, I'm fucking ready, mate. I'm ready to take on London. And then this went on for about a year. Eddie kept rejecting me. Oh no, I'm not. What Eddie done was, he wasn't rejecting me, he kept asking me, how much do you weigh? Well. He was like, because you know, you can't be too small because people are going to come in, they're going to try and smash you. Right. You know what I mean? And then he's asking me questions about MMA. He's like, I used to compete, and I was out competing, but I'm sending him videos. I'm doing all 10 Planet stuff in the videos, you know what I mean? And then it took about a year, and I wasn't giving up. I was like, I've got to run London. And then it was the week when he was facing Royler. He was getting ready on Meta Morris.
Meta Morris, I was going to say, yeah.
And it was that week I was fucking handing him, and he must have been. He's training, obviously.
He's weak, yeah.
Yeah, he's
like,
training. I'm like, Eddie, and he went, okay.
Oh,
you can. I think I handed him so much. He was like, okay, you're gonna run London. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
So what happens there? So Eddie's like, you know, we're gonna rank you to a blue belt, okay, and you're gonna run London. So I was a fucking blue belt. And I was running London, and man, that was crazy. That was crazy because You know, we had black belts in the gym. They left the gym, and then I come in and took over as a fucking blue belt.
That's a big deal, isn't it? Yeah.
So it was a big deal. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, they come after me. You know what I mean? They come, you know, they didn't like me. You know what I mean? Maybe not personally, but you know, they didn't like what I'd done. They didn't like 10th Planet presence being now at first. But it was a weird one because I was getting a lot of messages off of a lot of black belts who was training at schools and they wanted to do PTs with me.
That's crazy.
You had, you know, people, coaches and stuff like that who was more traditional, they hated us.
Yeah.
And it was funny because everyone said the same thing. You know what I mean? So, you know, after people probably don't even know what they're talking about. They're just repeating off what they hear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, you know, I'm quite solid, so things just bounce off me, you know what I mean? People call me names or whatever. So yeah, I was getting messages off black belts saying that they want to do PTs, but can we keep it quiet? Because, and I'm a blue belt, and I'm thinking, man, this is insane.
Yeah.
It was because they wanted to learn something new. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? And it was because we was doing leg locks. This was one of the main things, you know what I mean? Obviously we had our system, our rubber guard, our half guard system with the lockdown and our truck systems and that. Fucking amazing stuff. But we was doing leg locks. And then, you know, we want to come down and learn leg locks. We don't do leg locks, do you know what I mean? So you've got black belts messaging me, oh, we don't do leg locks, you know what I mean? We're not allowed to reap. Stuff like that. So it was...
Which is mental, isn't it, when you think about it now, sitting here in 2024, to hear that. Like...
Well, it was crazy. And I remember one of the turning points for me was I was doing a class at Diesel, and one of the coaches there, we were sparring, and he mounted me, and I was quite flexible, and bang, I threw my leg over, so I was reaping his leg, turned him away, got the heel exposed like that, and he went, stop! Just stopped me in my tracks. And he went, you can't do that. You'll get disqualified. And I went, this is an MMA class. What are you talking about? It was an MMA class.
Yeah, so you ain't getting disqualified.
I went, what are you talking about? He went, no, you know, whoa, you're out, mate. You'll be disqualified. And it was then I was like, man, I can't have this. You know what I mean?
He just saved himself there, didn't he?
Yeah,
just like,
he saved himself a bit of face there.
Yeah.
I was well happy. I was like, oh, I've got him.
Yeah.
You know, it's like with a coach, everyone wants to tap the coach.
Of course, yeah.
So yeah, we, you know, and then we was doing leg lock classes on the Saturdays. And it was then we was getting so much interest off people saying, oh, I want to come down to the class, but, you know, I don't want my coach to know. You know what I mean? And come in photos. And so it was like that a lot, you know what I mean? You know what? Because I was getting a lot of stick at first. 10th Planet, it's not Jiu Jitsu. Well, they're reaping the legs. They're too dangerous. You know what I mean?
That was the thing as well. When it's danger, that's what
it was dangerous. Yeah. And but we very had hardly any injuries in the school at the beginning. You know, because we were sensible. We knew. You know, I had good coaches. We had a leg lock coach, 10th Planet leg lock coach, Eric Ramey. Man, he was an absolute genius when it comes to legs. His knowledge was unbelievable. You know what I mean? Almost, his knowledge, it was like most probably don't even know who he is, but his knowledge was like how John Danaher was when he first started coming out with all the leg lock. Man, he used all the Japanese names, and he was just blown away from his knowledge. And he was the one that first taught me all the leg locks. And man, I'm like blue, purple belt, and we're doing heel hooks and stuff like that, you know. But we're just having fun. And the plan was at the beginning was we need to get a team out, just hitting all the sub-only comps, just ripping all the legs off. You know what I mean? Attacking the legs, that's it. So I had all these blue belts just going out, bang, tapping all these high-level belts out with the leg locks. So yeah, that brought a lot of attention to us. And as I say, at the beginning was getting a lot of stick off people for opening up. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to do open mat. Rather than trying to, there's certain groups on Facebook and that, you don't want to argue with it on these groups, you know what I mean? It's a bloody nightmare. You don't win nothing. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to do the open mat. Rather than that, and then people can say whatever they want. Mm-hmm. Let me run a free open mat Anyone can come down and train with us. So if anyone's got any problems, they can come down and train with us. So that was the attitude at the beginning when we done our open mat. It was like an invitation for haters. If you didn't like us, come down and then you can train with us. You can get 9-minute rounds. We've always done 9-minute rounds. Come down and get 9-minute rounds.
9 minutes.
Yeah, we always done 9-minute rounds. And but it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
We had a lot of coaches coming down, you know what I mean? And because they wanted to be in the environment where you had the freedom, you know, to try new things out, to leg lock and stuff like that. So I would always do a little speech at the beginning, go, oh, if you don't know leg locks, you know, just let your partner know. But if you're using leg locks, you know what I mean, just, you know, we're not here to hurt each other, we're all training partners, we're just training with each other. And so yeah, man, I've done that open mat now for 10 years straight. It's been free for everyone every Saturday, you know what I mean? And it's just, the environment is amazing. We get so many good people come down and train with us, and that's how it should be, you know what I mean? But yeah, at first, when I first run it, it wasn't that intense. The intention was, oh, if everyone don't like us, they can just come down and spar with us.
Come do something about it.
Just come and do something about it. But we was getting high level people coming in who wanted to be in the environment when we done leg locks. Do you know what I mean? For example, you know, we had Ross Nichols come down. You know, Ross is amazing, man. Ross is an amazing grappler. He come down to train with us because he didn't do leg locks in his old school, so he wanted to be in the environment. You know what I mean? And fair play to him, put himself out of his comfort zone, come down. You know what I mean? And you know, become amazing at leg locks. I'm not saying that we taught him everything, but he put himself, we taught him, got him, you know, he put himself in that environment.
Yeah.
And that's what I noticed, that a lot more people wanted to put themselves in the environment where you can experiment. You have the freedom, you know what I mean? You can reap the leg as long as you know, you're sensible about it and things like that, you know what I mean?
But they're the ones that get good at it, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? Like them old school mentality people that, oh, fuck that, and it don't work. The sport passes them by, doesn't it, at the end of the day? Do you know what I mean? They because you've got to move with the times, haven't you? You know, especially nowadays, there's kids on the mat, you know this is better than me, that there's kids that come on the mat that are 18, 19, 20, that are already black belts and been training for 10, 12 years.
Oh, it's insane.
Do you know what I mean?
It's insane. The knowledge out there now is insane.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
and YouTube as well, because we've got so much access to it now. Me and you can sit here now, just put the fucking phone on and watch like hours and hours of jiu-jitsu.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
It was, and back in the day when I first started, if you see something on YouTube, if the coach come up to you and went, where'd you see that? Oh, I see it on YouTube. Oh, you're a YouTube grappler. Blah, blah. You would get insulted.
Yeah.
And then a year later, they're putting content on there. Oh, look at this. Look at this armbar. Look. Boom. You know what I mean? Trying to get exposure.
That's it.
But jiu-jitsu moves very fast. Do you know what I mean? And as a coach, you've got to stay with it. You know what I mean? You can't fall behind. It's so easy to just get stuck in your comfort zone. And I think that's what rattled up a lot of people, was they was happy in that bubble. Oh, we're just teaching the same stuff, regular stuff, blah, 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 blah. Running around, shrimping and doing the cartwheels, you know what I mean? And all that, lining up in your ranks, all walking around ussing and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I know what that's all about, you know what I mean? So it doesn't have to be like that. Everyone just sort of copied that formula. Yeah. And then 10th Planet was different. It was like, we don't line up in no ranks, we don't you know what I mean? And little things like that. It was just, we're there just to train hard, have fun, and just learn jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean?
I think it was cool when you spar 10th Planet guys as well. And not just 10th Planet, but no gi in general, really. But coming down with you guys, you like, if you're not in a gi and ain't got a belt on, you don't know what you're about to get into, do you? Yeah. You're touching hands and right, let's go. But you better be ready for anything, bro, because, you know, I don't know if he's a bare bones beginner or he's like, you know, he's on it and he's going to rip my leg off.
You know what? That is the beauty of, especially when we do the open mat. Like, you walk in the open mat, you look around, you think, oh God, he looks big. Yeah. He looks jacked up. I think I'm going to roll with him first. Yeah. And he's only trained a few. You walk up to someone in a t-shirt, you think, oh, I might roll with him first.
I'll have an easy
get
round,
warmed up. Geezer smashes like that. You're like, oh my God, what's happened now?
That's it.
But yeah, that was the beauty. You know, you just walk in there, you just don't know what rank people are. Usually when I do open mat, you can usually tell off with grips straight away. Yes. When we start hand fighting. Someone's good at hand fighting, I go, oh yeah. I'm not going to
He's
give
the
them.
boy, yeah.
I'm not giving them nothing. You know, I'm going to go full steam on you.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I wanted to ask you before that, and that was great, by the way, talking about the history of it and whatnot, but like Eddie Bravo, the one thing I think people think is obviously 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, but the other thing they think about is conspiracy theories, right?
Yeah.
Now, I've had some people on there blinding conversations about people with conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Have you been sort of like taken under the conspiracy wing, or is that sort of left alone?
No, I don't get involved in that.
I thought you were going to talk about Tower 7 and shit
No,
today, bro.
no, I don't get involved in that. You know what? I haven't, and you know, people got their own opinions. Happy days, you know what I mean? But yeah, you know what? It's funny because when people come into the gym, they're visiting. They think that's what we do. They think all we do is we talk about conspiracy theories. We sit around smoking weed all day.
Yeah.
We just play rubber guard all day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just like, nah. They come in like, man, you've been wrestling. We've been wrestling the whole week. We're here. We're like, yeah, we wrestle. Yeah, we don't, but that's part of our system. We don't sit there doing this all day. We do jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what I mean. I've sort of avoided that bit.
I got
you know what I mean?
Well, one of the things, because a mate of mine who's not into jiu-jitsu at all, but he knows a bit about Eddie Bravo and stuff. He'll remain nameless, but he said about, like I said, I'm coming, like blah blah on today. I'm coming down to speak to you. 10th Planet London. He went 10th Planet. I'm like, they're flat earthers, aren't they? And then I showed him. Well, the thing that got me was I showed him the banner. We can't see it in here, but the banner is like a picture of it looks like the moon, right? Is it the moon? Either way, it's round. And I showed him that, and that kind of like fucking confused him a bit. So it's not we're not all flat earthers around here, is what I'm saying. And it's not like a cult like thing like other places. It's just very much come in, get good at jiu-jitsu.
We avoid that, you know what I mean? And obviously, the thing with Eddie asks questions. Whether he believes it or not, he doesn't actually say, "Oh, this is what I believe." Eddie just asks a question.
Yeah.
He goes, "Is it flat? Is it round?" And that's it. He goes, "Oh," and he lets everyone else do the debates. You know what I mean?
Clever
and
man.
he just sits there watching.
Yeah.
You know, he's always, "I have no opinion. I'm just asking questions. That's all I'm doing." You know
and to tell you what, fair play to him. You know, when you said he kept rejecting you, like you was blue belt or whatever, or he hadn't even graded you yet, you was just at that level. He could have just blanked you, couldn't he? To be fair, do you know what I mean? Some people would have just, like when you kept asking, some people would have just gone.
Well, you know what? When I first messaged him and he blew me out, he was like, "Nah, you're too green. You cannot run London. You ain't got enough experience."
Yeah.
I could have just left it as that. And you know what? I was on my way to work, and I got the email off him in the morning. I was emailing him. Got the email off in the morning. I was like, oh man, I was heartbroken. You know what I mean? But you know, my nature is I don't stop.
Yeah.
I don't stop. I just keep going. You know what I mean? So it was a couple of months. I think a couple of months. I emailed him back, and I think the title was like "Taking Over London." So I knew, you know,
stuck it on him.
Bang. So I was on him. Yeah, it was about a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm graded under Eddie. All my belts have come for Eddie. So I go over to LA, train with Eddie at LA. That's fun, going to LA.
I bet, I bet it is. What's the culture like over there? Is it hard rounds?
It's tough rounds.
Yeah.
It's fucking hot over there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, you know, last time I visited Eddie is when I got my black belt off him. You'll go there, Eddie will turn the aircon off. And he's like, okay, all live drills now, all live rounds. And he's just sending them over. Boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? I've just got off the plane.
Yeah.
Last time I went over there by myself. And yeah, it's tough, man. You know, you got to fight. He wants to see how you're getting on. You know
and so it should, right? Because it's got to be real.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Otherwise, you turn into like Aikido, don't you? Shout out Aikido.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the mask that you got to bow to and you're not allowed to touch and all that stuff.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he has always taught me from the beginning that you've got to spar with everyone that walks through the door. You know what I mean? You can't be a coach that just sits there. You know, obviously, if you're injured and you can't spar, but that's always how I've been. You know what I mean? Even on your bad day, Eddie's always told me, even on your worst day, when you get a visitor drop in, he says you can't sit there and let him trying to run through your students. You have to go there. You know what I mean? And you know, show him the levels in the gym. You've got to be the one.
Yeah.
And so that's what it was like at the beginning. But now I've got maybe 6 black belts now. Do you know what I mean?
So you just like
there's loads of killers in the gym, and I'm like, no, you're tougher than me now. You go and get them. Yeah. You know, we don't hunt people down, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, you're the one. You go and roll with them.
That's
but
cool.
they will do anyway, and it's all friendly. You know what I mean? But yeah, we've come from from me being the blue belt when I first started 10th Planet London 10 years ago. To I've gone through all the ranks, got all my belts from Eddie. up to my black belt, and we're at a position now where, you know, like I say, I've got about 5 or 6 black belts now in the school. There's just like a team of killers there, you know what I mean? When I do the lineups, like we do the advanced classes and stuff like that, I take the photos of the class at the end. When I go home, I look at the people in the class, I'm like, man, there's killers in there.
Proper class, yeah.
It's just, every round is tough round.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And yeah, man, it's really good.
Well, I bet on my Instagram feed, it's going back to Jack, it seems like every day I put my Instagram on, I see him with a new belt or fucking medal or something. So he seems
Jack's
like
the,
he's
Jack's
running.
the belt collector.
Is he? Yeah.
He don't stop.
Yeah.
I think he's got, what's he got coming up? I think he's got another title shot coming up. He's got another title fight coming up, at a different weight. Ooh. So he loves switching the weights.
Is
Jack.
he?
Yeah, he's going a bit heavier this time, which is good. And he's got Polara's match coming up. I don't know if I can say who it is with yet. But yeah, so he's getting ready. He's running Woolwich. So he's over here because I can't be at 2 places at once.
Right.
You know what I mean? Jack's been with me from the beginning. You know what I mean? From the old Limehouse, Crack House days.
Well, I used to go to a lot of his classes in a day. Because I was coming all the time on Saturday mornings, but then I went for a couple of months. I think my club was a bit quiet, and where I was working and whatnot. So I did like a couple of months of training Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10th Planet, and it was always Jack, and he was always a great coach. Yeah, Jack's a good coach. Yeah. So yeah, he's coaching over here. He's looking after things over here. He's doing an amazing job. You know what I mean? And man, he's tough, man. Yeah. And Jack, just out of curiosity, what weights is he going between? What are the weights he does? Man, he goes between 77. It's amazing how he drops to 77. So that's got to be quite tough for him, the old 77, isn't it?
Yeah, because he's quite jacked up. You know what I mean?
He's big framed as well.
He's a big lad. Yeah. You know what I mean? But yeah, he drops to 77. I think the one he's coming up at the moment is 82. Okay. And then I think the Polaris is 84, I think. So he's happy with that. He's happy with the 84. But he likes cutting weight. I don't like him cutting weight. Right. Tell him all the time, stop cutting the weight, Jack. You know what I mean? Just stay around 80. But he wants them belts. So there you go. Once he wins one at one weight division, he's going higher or lower. I got you. To win more. You know and how old's Jack? He's in his 30s. Is he? Okay. I'm not going to say a number because I'm going to get it wrong. Okay. But yeah, he's in his 30s, early 30s. I was going to say, so somewhere between 30 and 39. We're calling him 39 just to give him some stick. I don't want to offend him. Yeah. Because I might have to roll with him later. I don't want to offend him. You know what I mean? But he's definitely one of the toughest roles in the gym. I bet, I can, because I think when I was training before, I think he got his purple belt then. So he's, you know, that's a long time ago. So he's like, you know, he's off to the races now. And he's a black belt, I take it, is he? He's a black belt under me now, And is he under you or under Eddie? How does that work? He's under me, That's cool, isn't it? I like that. That's really cool. So yeah, that's nice. The lineage is through. Yeah, it's nice, you know what I mean? I mean, yeah, when I got my black belt from Eddie, it meant, you know, I could come back. And obviously with Eddie's blessing, you know, Eddie obviously knows, Jack goes over and trains with Eddie. Oh, he does? Okay. Yeah, Eddie knows who Jack is. You know, it was an honour to give him his belt. You know what I mean? Because he fucking deserved it. You know what I mean? And then, yeah, to be in a position now where we've got, you know, a lot of black belts in the gym. You know, loads of brown belts, purple belts, and just, you know, solid competition team in now. Yeah, man, it's really grown into a good place. But the environment is amazing. You have to create a good environment. Yep. You know what I mean? Everyone trains hard. And, you know, training hard, you have to have a good sense of humour. You know what I mean? You can't come in miserable. You know, you're training hard, you don't need miserable people around you. You have to have a good sense of humour. Always having fun, always having a laugh, do you know what I mean? But you're always putting the work in. And it's like anything in it, like everyone's got problems off the mat, innit? You know what I mean? You go home, whether you've got Mrs. driving you mad or work shit or whatever. Yeah. Like you don't want to come here and have another headache, do you? No, 100%. I mean, as a coach, you know, I've been coaching over 10 years. And you have to, as a coach, no matter what's happening outside, in your personal life, whatever, you know, you have to turn up to class with energy. You have to bring energy into that class, you know what I mean? Because there's people working all day, you know what I mean? People got problems. The last thing they want to see me coming in being miserable, you know what I mean? So this is one thing I'm very good at, where as soon as the class is on, my energy just goes through the roof, do you know what I mean? I'm going to feed my energy to everyone, you know what I mean? It's like, come on, we've got work to do, everyone, so I bring all their spirits up, do you know what I mean? Yeah. But you know what, everyone wants to be a coach. But It's very hard being a coach. It's very tough. Don't get me wrong. You can come in, teach a few things, go call yourself a coach. You know what I mean? You're not really a coach, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? It goes a lot deeper than that because there's so many different characters in there. People have so many little problems there. You got to be a rock for everyone. You know what I mean? You got to help everyone. If they've got problems, you know, you're listening to everyone's problems. You know, you're trying to get everyone back in the game. You know what I mean? And things like that. The consistent, the studying, it just never ends. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's Tuesday today. I would have got in the gym at 9, 10 o'clock, and I would have got home at midnight. You know what I mean? And going home, I'm just studying, boom, 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 watching matches, consistently studying. What do we need to work on? What does the team need to work on? Do you know what I mean? So it's never ending. You know what I mean? And yeah, you've got to be tough to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everyone's like, oh yeah, I want to be a coach. But I'm like, yeah. You step in my shoes for a month.
Until you see what it feels like.
Till you know that the hard work that goes into it is it's a full-time job. Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, I used to my job before. I used to be a building site. When I was a building site manager, leaving my job I had to leave my job to be a coach full-time.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You can be a part-time coach, 100%. You can be a part-time coach and bring up an amazing team. You know what I mean? But for me, I had to do it 100%. Do you know what I mean? It was something I wanted to do, but I wanted to make the commitment to do it. And it was tough at the time because you know, I had a good job, was getting paid good money. I had a secure job, all my pensions and all that stuff, and I had a family. I had a wife and kids, and when I was telling people I'm leaving my job to teach full time, I'm not going to earn as much money, but they thought I was crazy. They're like, you're crazy, mate. You're secure, and you're going to leave and take this massive risk, especially with a family. You've got bills coming out everywhere, you know what I mean? Normal bills. I was like, no, this is what I've got to do. You know what I mean? Because I'm not happy. I mean, I wasn't happy working every day. So I needed to make that commitment where I was doing something that I enjoyed. And, you know, money's not everything, you know what I mean? You can feel like a rich person with little things, just as long as you got happiness around you, you know what I mean? As long as you got your family, just the things you need, you know what I mean? I'm very simple, as long as I've got the basic things that I need, you know, I can go on a holiday, you know, I've got my family, stuff like that. Man, I feel like I've got everything. You know what I mean? So you work hard for the money, but it's nothing at the end of the day. You have to do things that you enjoy. You know
and you only get one go as well, don't you?
You only get one go at it. Yeah. Exactly. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it's all about the stories you want to be telling the grandkids and things like that. You know what I mean? That's what I tell a lot of my students. You know, that you know, oh, your grandkids don't care about what buildings you've designed. You know what I mean? I don't care what buildings you've built or you've sold all this stuff in, but they don't care about that. You know what I mean? That's how I encourage people to compete. So you've got to make stories. You know what I mean? So you need to go out, compete. Just not even just compete. Just do things. You know what I mean? That you want to do that you can talk about. Yeah. It's nice when when you see old people and you're talking and they're talking about we've done this, we've done that. It's like fucking that's amazing. You know what I mean? Yeah.
But, and you see it the other way as well, don't you? You see old people regretting like fucking working in the same job for 60 years.
Yeah, 100%. You know what I mean? So yeah, there is no regret. You know what I mean? You got to go full on. Yeah, you know what I mean? Especially with with the coaching, I had to go full on. Yeah. With the 10 Planet, I had to go full on. You know what I mean? I was never backing down. I was going to get London.
You were chasing Eddie.
I was chasing it.
So moral of the story is, kids, message Eddie for a year and tell him you want a certain part of London, and eventually he'll give in. And you're going to take over London anyway and be a multi-millionaire from it. So
yeah, you'll have to battle with me first because I'm taking over London.
Jamie owns this town, he said, I think. Was that the quote? I run this town.
I run this town, mate.
But going forward, mate, for the future, as we've said, we've touched on it already, like, is the plan to get more schools and have the London thing like all together?
Yeah, the plan is to keep growing. You know, we'll develop here, like Jack's over here, we'll develop a team over here and then we'll move on. Do you know what I mean? And just build a super team. That's it, man. That's the goal. Nice. You know what I mean? Just a good environment where people can come in, train. You know, they can be free to experiment. You know what I mean? Obviously, We have two different levels. People, obviously, we have hobbyists and we have competitors. You know what I mean? We're very good at developing both. You're here to train. Give yourself a bit of freedom. You know what I mean? Release a bit of stress. That's the beautiful thing about jiu-jitsu. Is just, man, it's you know, it's the environment. You just come in here. Any stresses, you know, you're here choking people out or whatever. It's gone. You know what I mean? And the team environment where everyone's so friendly. You know what I mean? You just create loads of friends, build up a team, and you know that environment is very healthy for you. But also the competition side, we can do that. You know, if you want to compete, we can do that. You know, I mean, we have a lot of classes that's off timetable, which is just competition classes.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, we do. Man, it's tough, man.
Yeah.
We've done one. I'm in bits today. We've done one yesterday. On the Mondays we do wrestling. The wrestling rounds, they're killer.
I take it out, yeah,
they're killer, rounds. Yeah. And we're with the MMA gym as well. We get a lot of MMA fighters come down. Do you know what I mean? So they're all fun. They're fun to wrestle with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I'm not just saying it because I'm here as well. 10th Planet is one of the rare places you hear about people come and train. I've never heard anyone say a bad word about it. Everyone seems to like it, and everyone's like got great things to say about the place. So
yeah,
with that kind of vibe going on, it's hard to see how it doesn't grow and take over London, doesn't it? You know?
Yeah.
It is one of the things. But are you an MMA guy as well in terms of like interest and training fighters and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I help out the MMA team, you know, but as best I can at the gym. We've got some good fighters coming up. But yeah, you know, I used to watch more MMA, probably at the beginning, but now it's just jiu-jitsu consistently all the time. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm always there for the MMA team. Obviously, being the head jiu-jitsu coach there, you know, the coaches will always send me. We're always working with each other. You know, they need to work on this, James, so they'll send them over to me. You know what I mean? So it's, you know, out of class time, I'll come in and work with them, and you know what I mean?
That's cool, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't expect them to come into classes. You know what I mean? You get MMA fighters turn up and we're doing bolos or something like that. You know what I mean? It's not beneficial for them. So it's, you know, when they need to work on this, meet me this time, do you know what I mean? And I'm there, you know what I mean? That's the good thing about the gym, is we've got good coaches on all the disciplines and we're just bouncing off of each other, you know what I mean? They send them that way. We've got strength and conditioning coach over there and, you know, good Thai coaches and that, do you know what I mean? So we just work together as a unit, you know what I mean?
Nice, man. Because there's a lot of, obviously, 10th Planet relevant guys in the UFC, and the one I wanted to ask you about, because he's fallen on hard times, is Tony Ferguson.
Tony Ferguson.
Yeah. Now, he's one of them ones, right? He had such a great career and he was tremendous black belt in jiu-jitsu. Used to sub people, used to do the whole thing. But do you know Tony personally?
I was in LA once when I think it was Tony Ferguson was getting ready for the Khabib fight.
One of the many that never happened.
The one
that got away.
That never happened, yeah. So he was in the gym at the time training when we was there. He was training with Eddie and some of the top lads there, you know what I mean? And because you know most people that go against Khabib, they're trying to avoid takedowns. Yep. Do you know what I mean? Where Tony Ferguson was like, he wanted the takedowns. Like, you take me down and I'm going to tie you up, and you know what I mean. So Eddie was working with him. But yeah, man, he's tough. Tony's tough, man. But
Might be too tough for his own good, right?
Maybe too tough for his own good, yeah. But you know, had a little chat with him. That was it. We didn't get to spar with him. You know, we see him, you want to spar with him because he's there sparring and that. But because he's getting ready for the fight, you know what I mean.
What's that mean? He bottled it. He didn't want to spar with Big Jamie. Is that what I'm saying?
See me with a bald head, mate. You know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
like, we're not having
Not
none
for me.
of that. We've heard about him, mate. You know what I mean? Don't leave you alone, bro. Yeah.
Yeah. But he's got a fight lined up now, hasn't he, with Nick Diaz, which I think is.
He's got the Nick Diaz fight coming up. Yeah.
It's a good fight, I think, but it's just a shame. I don't like seeing it. I don't like seeing him go on too long, man.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I know what you're saying. I know what you mean. It's an interesting one to watch that, but you know, we've got to call it a day sometime. But yeah, Tony's amazing. You know what I mean? Striker, you know, he's very unorthodox in his style. But yeah, man. Yeah, he's a 10th Planet black belt.
That's what I mean. Yeah, because it's, I think where I don't like watching fighters like that fight past it is, you know, when they're losing to people that you think in their prime they would have absolutely gone through. That's where I go, just stop now.
Yeah,
you know?
no, yeah, we don't. Yeah, it's hard to watch sometimes.
It
do you know
is,
what
yeah.
I mean?
Like BJ Penn was another one. Like he couldn't win a fight for love nor money at the end, could he? Do you know what I mean? But in his prime was like fucking phenomenal.
But I mean, you know, growing up as a fighter, it's hard.
It's hard to walk away. And to go on a loss, I think. When you're on a streak, you want to finish on a win.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to go out on a loss. Do you know what I mean? So that's a tough one, you know. But yeah, mate, it's hard to walk away, innit? It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to do something that you've done all them years and then just stop doing it.
And there's the financial side of it too, isn't it? When they're used to getting these big paydays for fights, it's all right saying stop, but they got to figure something else out now, haven't they? Do you know what I mean?
What are you going to do? You're fighting all your life. You stop. What are you going to do?
And you're still quite a young man. Like, I mean, I think Tony's 40, isn't he? Which
Tony's
people
40,
goes old for a fighter, but in terms of life, that's quite young, isn't it? He's got a lot of time left in front of him. Like, what do you do?
I like you said that's a young man at 40.
Mate,
You know
because
what I mean?
every year that goes by, I'm getting closer to 40, and so it's like
How old are you now?
34.
Oh,
But
you're
we're
young.
on
You're
camera.
young.
Whoa, we're on camera, so we'll cut that out and we'll say I'm 21, right? So, but yeah, 34. But they creep up on you. How old are you?
47.
47, yeah. We call that a young man because the camera's on.
we'll
I'll
call
tell you,
that-
I'll
we'll
tell you the
call
truth
that
when
a
it's
young
off.
man.
You know what I mean? But yeah, so is that the thing that happens? You go every year to sort of LA, train with Eddie?
Yeah,
as part of the loop?
I'll go to LA. I think we're going to go next year with the team, do a little tour, go around some
nice,
other
mate,
gyms and
nice.
that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, we fly out to LA and then it's it's just training. You know what I mean? Because it's in where the gym is in downtown LA. So it's not the nicest place.
Oh, it's not the nicest place. I thought you was going to say that's a good place to be, but it's not.
No, it's not the nicest place. The last time I went on my own, and 'cause it's near like Skid Row and things like that. You know what I mean? Where all the homeless people are. You know, you got a lot of drug addicts walking around and stuff like that. So yeah, last time I went on my own, and I thought, yeah, I'll have a little walk around, go to some shops, and I got fucking lost. And my phone didn't work. The internet on my phone didn't work. I didn't know where I was. And I'm walking around, now I'm starting to walk around into Skid Row and all stuff like that. People going, oh, come over here, and all, and calling. I'm like, oh, God, you know what I mean?
Don't need that.
No, you'll walk along, could be morning, 12 o'clock, there'll be someone, I won't say like doing a number two, just in the middle of the street, people just walking past, you know what I mean?
It's normal, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. But the homeless there, you know, you got a lot of families there and stuff like that, so it's not the nicest place, but you know, I'm not there for that. I'm there for the training.
Yeah,
you
just
know
don't
what I
go for a
mean?
walk on your own at night, kids.
Don't,
You're
yeah.
all right.
Make sure you got your internet turned on. Don't get lost.
But are you a big fan of America? Because I hear mixed reviews about America. I love it there. I really like America.
America's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. To be honest, like I've been, you know, down to Venice Beach and stuff like that. But when I go there, it's just purely training.
Yeah.
So, and because of the time difference, you know what I mean? I'm there, I do a class, come back, I eat, and then I sleep. Wake up, do a class, come back, and I just repeating that for as long as I'm there. I just want to get as much training in as I can.
Yeah.
So we don't really go sightseeing or nothing like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm the same. Do you know what? I've never been to LA. The closest I've been San Fran, but I've been to Denver and Boulder, Colorado quite a lot. Trained with Team Elevation, or Elevate, sorry. Shout out Amal Easton's gym. But it was, I'm similar to that. I just want to get there and train. But the big thing out there, I have to see a few things and stay up because the altitude. So I don't know if you've ever trained at altitude, but it's different to what I thought it'd be. When I train, like during training, I don't notice any difference to here at all.
Yeah.
It's what I notice is if like I do what you just said, I eat and I go back and sleep expecting to go and train later, forget it, my day's over. So I try and stay up and about like for the second session. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard to balance it out.
Yeah.
Because your brain's, you should be asleep.
Yeah.
But your brain's like, what are you doing? You're still awake.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? You try like, one of the Eddie's sessions finishes like 11 o'clock at night. So, you know, it's, what's it back home? Maybe 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, you know what I mean? So my brain's just going, what are you doing? You know, you should be, and it's so hard to go to sleep, you know what I mean? So I'm going into sessions tired, really tired. Eddie's just sending all these killers over, you know what I mean? So, yeah, man, it's tough. It's tough.
Good. But good times, huh? We're only young once.
But it's good time. That's what I want. I wouldn't want it no other way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice, mate. You know, it was nice to go over there last time, get me black belt, because that was the dream.
Did you know it was coming? Did you know it was coming, or is it like?
Well, I'd been a brown belt for a long time. I was probably a brown belt for about 5 years, I think.
It's a long time for brown belt, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, not for other belts necessarily.
Yeah, but the reason, I mean, Eddie don't send you the belts in the post.
No, it's real.
You know
isn't
what I
it?
mean?
How it should be.
You got to go over there. You got to go over there and train with Eddie. But then we had COVID.
Right, of course, yeah.
So then COVID hit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was like, oh man, just can't go nowhere.
Ed, can I get that?
Yeah, Ed,
Black belt sent in the mouth.
send it over, mate. You know what I mean? So yeah, the COVID hit, and then man, so I couldn't do anything for a while. Then obviously you had to be vaccinated to go over there and stuff like that.
That was
you
the
know
killer,
what I mean?
yeah.
That was the killer. And then so when it was the time, you know, I went over there, and you know, to be honest, I don't expect anything. Because I do no-gi, you know what I mean? All I care about is just training, building the team. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, that's a bonus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I thought I'm going to go over there, I'm going to fucking do my best, show Eddie, man, I'm training fucking hard. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, and I got my black belt there. You know.
And how's that? Is that at the end of the trip? I take it. Does he sort of call you up and like?
Yeah, Eddie will come in, do his speech. You know what I mean? Done an amazing speech, as you can imagine, coming from Eddie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a day before I was leaving, something like that.
Oh, nice.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, and he got me belt, and then come back for a couple more sessions. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's overwhelming. You know what I mean? For me personally, because of the journey I had. Building 10 Planet in London, and then just going through the ranks, do you know what I mean? Going from blue belt, getting, you know, people just trying to hammer me, you know what I mean? Say, what are you doing here? You don't belong here. Well, you're reaping. What's going on? You know, to building up a good team and, you know, establishing our place in London and on the competition scene and things like that. And then receiving my black belt off, you know, someone I always looked up to was Eddie. Yeah, man, it's amazing. Don't get better than that. You know what I mean? That's what we, you know, what was all the hard work was for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And obviously continues. Now my goal is to, you know, my team, like I say, we've got a few black belts now. Want them to open up their own places. Just fucking grow. You know what I mean?
Well, let's get to Southwest because I need a bit of that rubber guard shit in my life, bro. So let's get some of the boys over and we'll figure this out, eh?
I don't know about your knees. You're
no,
getting
don't
old,
worry about
mate,
them. I'm young, man. We said this already. We've been over this. But yeah, man, before we finish up, I always have a bit of fun with people and ask them who the football team is. Now, before you answer, you've told me where you're from, so I'm assuming you're not going to give me the correct answer, but
hey.
let's pass the ball to you.
What do you think?
Huh?
What do you think?
Well, I know where I think, but I'm going to let it come out of your mouth because I can't stomach those two words. I can't let it come out.
For West Ham, mate.
There you go. I didn't want to say it. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. Because I think you lost 3-0 the other week to a team, didn't you? We won't mention it on here. You know?
Well, you know what? Growing up, all my mates were West Ham.
Yep.
Fans,
I can imagine that part of the world. Yeah.
And
So they should be.
Especially growing up in the 80s. You know what I mean? A lot of my friends they were all hooligans, basically.
Yeah.
But so I supported West Ham, but I was never really into football. So I couldn't have a conversation about football. You know, talking about football players and all that. I couldn't hold that down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, all my mates were West Ham. You know what I mean?
But you said you're not really a football fan, so we might be able to change you. Is that what I'm
No,
hearing?
never, mate.
Can
Never.
I bring a shirt next time?
Never, mate, because that loyalty is there, mate. It's always West Ham till I die, mate. You know
Very
what I mean?
good. Yep, I can appreciate that. And from the part of the world, I can stomach that. The thing that drives me nuts is I had someone on the other day from the same place as me. Shout out Jamie Lawrence, used to play in the Premiership. He said he supports Liverpool. Just took the fucking air out the room. I was like, bro, I don't even know what to say anymore. Let's fucking finish here. You know what I mean? But yeah, before we finish, mate, anything you want to plug with the gym? Let people know where we are, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so listen, we've got the 2 locations now. Southeast, SE18, main place here, run by Jack Tiley, 10 Planet London SE. We've got the headquarters down in Royal Albert, E16. Right. Come along. We've got a free open mats. We do an open mat on a Saturday, which we've been running for 10 years. That's free for everyone. We do a leg lock class before that. That's a drop-in fee, £10. Come and learn some leg. Come and learn the reap. And we have an open mat now on the Woolwich branch on a Sunday, 11:30, and that's free for everybody. What more can we do?
What more can we do for you, kids? But thank you very much for doing this, mate. I really appreciate you.
Always a pleasure.
Please give us a like and a subscribe, guys, so we can grow and get more top blokes like Jamie on. I'll do this with you. How do we do this? Good. We'll do a little bit of this business, but we always finish like this, mate, with the fists up. You can do the 10th planet if you want today. Squeeze the neck. Boom!